Hey, it's Caressa.
Hey, it's Maddie.
You're not watching the Disney Channel right now.
You're listening to
Dreadfully Twisted. Guys, we're back.
We are back.
That whole entire part before this is going to go at the end for the blooper reel, so stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned.
But we're back.
Dreadfully
Twisted's back again. Dreadfully Twisted's back. Tell your friends, and family. Oh, wow. Okay. But let me tell you why I think I'm haunted today.
Oh, yeah.
So, I haven't been having a great week, honestly. So, that's probably why. It's probably just my energy. Mm-hmm. But, because I actually was able to work in my other office today because I had my ERG meeting, which is a employee resource group that I'm a team lead of. And so I had the meeting today in that office. So, my manager was just like, just work there all day. And I was like, okay, cool. Because I had to drop other stuff off and do some stuff there, like sending out mail and stuff. And they have like a mail postage machine that seals it and stamps it for you, and we had like 2 boxes worth, so I did that today. But so I went home for lunch because I was able to since I was closer to home. And I went home. Jeremy made soup and stuff, so I ate my soup for lunch, and I grabbed a spoon out of the drawer, like the silverware drawer, and I closed it, and then I turned back around and I went to sit down, and the drawer just slowly opened.
Oh my god.
And then Jeremy was sitting right there. I looked at him, he looked at me, and I was just like, what is going on right now?
Okay then.
And I was like, okay. So I just pushed it back, sat down, started eating my soup. It was actually chili, but I called it soup because it was really soupy.
Yeah.
But it was chili, white chicken chili, which is so good. But but I was just like sitting there, and then I'm just eating, and I had my hair back. Like I pulled it back because I always do that whenever I eat. Like my hair is way too long and it gets in my face. So I was like sitting there, and I had earrings in my second hole, and I wear these earrings like every day. And this has never once happened to me. And my hair wasn't caught or anything, so I made sure of it whenever I put my hair back. I did this to make sure it didn't get caught. I'm just sitting there, and all of a sudden I hear a ta-ting. Oh. And I'm like, what's going on? And I like look on the floor. My earring fell out. My back of my earring was missing. Completely gone.
That's weird.
Completely gone.
What the?
And I was just like sitting there just like this, just eating soup. And it just went poop on the floor.
Was this around the same time that
it was literally opened? Like 2 minutes after the drawer opened at my house. So I look at Jeremy, I'm just like, I'm haunted today.
Someone's
I don't know.
Playing pranks on you.
I was like, I'm haunted today. And that's what I thought. Because at work, I was talking to Jocelyn, and I was like, I'm haunted. And I was like talking to her, and then I made all of her like little knickknacks on her thing and fall. And I'm like, I'm haunted today. I can't do this anymore. And she was like, no, you literally made them fall. She's like, I saw it. I was like, I know, but I'm just saying I'm haunted today. And then I told her, and she was like, huh, that's weird. She's like, it has to be your energy or something. You're like attracting them to you. And I'm like, it's either that or it's our dad saying, hey, stop being in a bad mood. Like cheer up or something, because he's just trying to play pranks on me or something. I don't know. But
he's like, watch this.
He was like, you're not feeling good this week? Let me open this drawer after you just shut it. Let me make your earring fall out of your ear.
They're just trying to take your mind off of it. Aw.
It did for a second, because I was like, what is going on? I'm just like, oh my gosh. But like, oh my gosh, wait, I want to check my camera from last night, see if there's anything. Yeah. Because it'd be weird if this, but like, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just like, that was so weird. And like, I told Jeremy, I was like, I'm haunted. And he didn't say anything. He just looked at me. Because you know him, he doesn't believe in that stuff. Yeah. But I just thought it was funny. Oh, hi. He's rolling against my, my bag. Hold on, let me check real quick. If there was something, that would be great. Lately, on my camera, I've just been getting my cats playing. Yeah. It's not really entertaining. It's entertaining, but, like, they're just chasing after each other. Yeah. Or they're just sitting there. Or I catch Snickers on the counter where she's not supposed to be.
Her and Maisie would be besties.
Yeah, and then Ratchet lays on the table. Oh, there's Snickers jumping up on the counter. Trying to see if there's anything. I don't see anything so far. Watch there be something tonight or something. Yeah, I don't see anything. But yeah, so I think I'm haunted today.
Oh my gosh. Oh. That's crazy.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think it's just me being crazy, or do you think I could be haunted?
No, that definitely opened. I don't think a silverware drawer would be opening by itself.
No, because it like slowly opened.
Yeah.
It was just like...
Mm-hmm. Like it was definitely being
And
pulled.
it opened the whole entire way. And that's never happened before.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is cool. So, anything new with you before we get started?
Nope. I'm boring.
You're boring. I'm pretty boring too. Any like true crimey stuff you heard of or anything?
Yes. Okay, actually.
Oh, really? Because
Yeah.
you probably saw that I did open my TikToks, because I don't know if you can see if somebody's seen it or not, but I opened it this earlier because I was trying to show Jeremy that video. Did I send you a video of Billy Ray Cyrus butcherly singing?
Yeah.
And it was like me whenever I'm in the shower. I cannot find that video now.
Really?
I was trying to show it to him and I couldn't find it, and I was so upset. So I was going back through our messages like right before I left, and I couldn't see anything.
Right before the Roadhouse one.
Oh, it was right before the Texas Roadhouse one. Oh, that's why. Yeah. Because I came up on my thing, and he was like, what is that? And I told him about it.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was looking at a TikTok because do you know that Ronnie Radke was dating Saraya, who was a WWE fighter? Well, he was dating her, and they dated, and I guess they broke up, but people were like all in uproar about it. And I was watching a video because he said that they've been broken up for 3 months now, and like people are upset about it, but I'm just like,
yeah,
it's life though.
Yeah.
But I was watching that because I was interested in it for a second. Now a lot of people were gonna be like, why do you like Ronnie Radke? He sucks. Because a lot of people think he's a bad person, but he's not.
Yeah.
Just FYI, he's changed. Don't come at me. Don't come at me. Did you find it? What was it about?
This woman found a truck full... Trigger warning, children, if you want to skip like 20 seconds, go ahead now. But I seen this all over TikTok today. This woman found a truck full of children's bodies, like stacked up high in this truck. And people were thinking it might be the cartel or something.
What the...
And I also heard that now she's dead.
Whoa.
So maybe the cartel came after her is like what people were thinking. It's just craziness.
That's scary.
Yeah.
That's very scary. Whew. Okay. Because I actually got my research typed up on my computer this time because I'm doing great at life right now. Just kidding. So, this case was one that Jeremy actually recommended me. He was like, have you ever heard about this person? And I was like, yes, I have actually. But I didn't know about it to the extent as what I'm all about to tell you. Yeah. Like, I knew of him. You probably know of him too. But yeah. He's like a serial killer. So, let's get started here. So, Robert Durst.
The Jinx.
Yes.
The Jinx.
Yes.
If you guys haven't seen The Jinx, go watch The Jinx. That's all I have to say to you.
Yes. So,
Go
Robert
watch it right now.
Durst.
After this podcast.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to play a clip too.
Yeah.
A couple, just one. Maybe a couple. I don't know. Just one about this. But yeah. So, Robert Durst was born in New York City on April 12th, 1943 and grew up in Scarsdale, New York. He was the eldest son of real estate millionaire Seymour Durst and his wife Bernice Hairstein. His paternal grandfather Joseph Durst, originally a Jewish tailor from Austria-Hungary, I'm butchering my words, immigrated to the United States in 1902 and eventually became a real estate manager and developer, founding the Durst Organization in 1927. Robert's 3 younger siblings were Douglas, Tommy, and Wendy Durst. Trigger warning, suicide. So if you want to skip 30 seconds, do it now. Kind of quick, but It's kind of a paragraph, so saying 30 seconds just to give myself some time. When Robert was 7, his mother died by suicide by jumping from the roof of the family's Scarsdale home. He later claimed to have witnessed it, asserting the moments before her death, his father walked him to a window from which he could see her standing on the roof. Which is terrifying. Why would you show your son that?
Exactly, that's what I was thinking. What?
But in a March 2015 New York Times interview, his brother Douglas denied that Robert had witnessed the suicide. As children, Robert and Douglas underwent counseling for sibling rivalry. That's hard to say. A 1953 psychiatrist's report on 10-year-old Robert mentioned, quote, personality decomposition and possibly even schizophrenia. Robert Durst attended Scarsdale High School, where classmates described him as a loner. He earned a bachelor's degree in economics in 1965 from Lehigh University, where he was a member of the varsity lacrosse team and the business manager of student newspaper, the Brown and White. That's what the newspaper was called. Later that year, Robert enrolled in a doctoral program at the University of California, Los Angeles, where he met Susan Berman, but eventually withdrew from the school and returned to New York in 1969. Keep in mind of the name Susan Berman. That was his best friend. Keep it in mind. Robert Durst opened a small health food store in Vermont in the early 1970s. He closed the store in 1973 when his father convinced him to return to New York. In 1992, due to Robert's inappropriate conduct, his father broke with tradition and appointed his second son, Douglas, to take over the Durst organization, which was the company founded by his father. As the firstborn, Robert felt entitled to run the company despite his disdain for it. Which is, if you hate it, then why do you care that much? Right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong? He claimed that Douglas had stolen what was rightfully owed to him, leading to Robert's estrangement from the rest of his family. He eventually sued for his share for the fortune and was bought out for the family trust for $65 million in 2006. That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
And honestly, this dude is like a millionaire.
Yeah.
Robert Durst.
Mm-hmm.
Why the heck would you kill people?
I know.
I mean, you shouldn't do it in any circumstances.
Yeah.
But, like, you have money.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't be like this. But he's awful.
Yeah.
For most of his entire adult life, Robert Durst was the subject of an investigation and speculation concerning 3 alleged crimes. The 1982 disappearance of his wife, Kathy McCormack, the 2000 murder of his longtime friend, Susan Berman, and the 2001 death of his neighbor, Morris Black. He was ultimately tried and acquitted for the murder in the Black case, but later convicted in the Berman case, which I probably shouldn't have said now, but whatever, it's fine. There's a lot of stuff to it, so stay there. Stay intrigued in it, because I promise you, you're going to be like, what the heck? That's what I say through this whole entire thing. I get so mad. I was literally like typing earlier. I was going like clack, 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 clack. I was like, I'm so mad right now. He goes to jail so many freaking times, and I'm gonna say my notes, because I put notes after things, and I'm just like, that's what I was thinking in the moment. So, in the late 1971, Robert Durst met dental hygienist Kathleen McCormack. After 2 dates, he invited her to share his home in Vermont, where she moved in January 1972. After two days?
First of all...
Two dates. Which is still, could be 2 days.
Yeah. 2 dates. Your date could be a serial killer for all you know by then.
Yeah.
Which is also terrifying to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
No.
Not after 2 dates.
Don't do that.
That's kind of...
Don't do that, guys.
That's red flag behavior.
Definitely.
Red flag behavior. That red flag guy that's on TikTok, that's him right now. Running that flag back and forth. Saying no.
I love that account.
I do too. I saw that he started doing green flags, and I love it. After Robert's father pressured him to resettle in New York to work at Durst organization, the couple returned to Manhattan and then married on April 12, 1973. At the time of her disappearance, Kathleen was a medical student in her 4th and final year at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine in the Bronx. Hoping to become a pediatrician, she was only a few months short of earning her degree. Kathleen was last seen by someone other than Robert Durst on the evening of January 31st, 1982, when she appeared unexpectedly at a dinner party thrown by her friend Gilbert Najami in Newtown, Connecticut. Najami noticed that Kathleen seemed upset and was wearing red sweatpants, which Najami found odd. She never dressed so casually in public. After receiving a phone call from her husband, Kathleen left for her cottage in South Salem, New York. That's a good friend right there.
Yeah.
No one she would never be wearing sweatpants like this. That's a good friend. It's a good friend. Just know I too.
Yes.
No, I wear sweatpants a lot. I don't wear them out though.
Yeah.
But I wear leggings though.
Yeah, me too. I wear leggings anywhere.
Me too. But yeah, that's a good friend.
It is.
Maybe, maybe she just wanted to be comfy. But no, she was upset. So. Although the couple was known to have fought that evening, Robert initially maintained that he placed his wife on a commuter train to New York City at Katana Rail Station, had a drink with a neighbor, and spoken to his wife at their Manhattan apartment by telephone later that evening. That's what I told police, he said. I was hoping that would just make everything go away. He subsequently admitted that he went home and went to bed. So you think lying would just make everything go away?
Yeah.
Why do you think you need to make everything go away? Huh? What did you do?
Exactly, huh?
You're thinking like a guilty person, so you are in turn guilty.
Exactly.
Because if you don't feel guilty, you have nothing to be guilty for. The two women were supposed to meet up the next day at Lions Gate, a Manhattan pub. When Kathleen failed to appear, Najami grew concerned and repeatedly called the police over the course of several days. Such a good friend.
Yeah.
Love you, Najami. Love you. Later that week, Robert reported his wife missing. Both the doorman and the building superintendent at the couple's apartment on Riverside Drive claimed that they had seen Kathleen McCormack at the building on February 1st, the day she was last seen. The doorman additionally said he had only seen her from behind and from a half block away and could not be certain it was her. A private investigator hired by Robert Durst's lawyer later reported that the doorman said he had not seen her arrive at all and might have been working the night she disappeared. It might not have been working the night she disappeared. Only 3 weeks after Robert had reported his wife missing, the superintendent on Riverside Drive found some of her possessions in the building's trash compactor. Also, why is her friend reporting her missing literally the next day, but Robert didn't?
Yeah.
He waited a week.
Exactly. Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious. Dude.
What is wrong with you?
Obviously, everything. 3 weeks before her disappearance, Kathleen had been treated at Bronx's Jacobi Medical Center for facial bruises. She told her friend that her husband, Robert Durst, had beaten her but did not press charges over the incident. Kathleen had asked Robert for a $250,000 divorce settlement. Instead, he canceled her credit card, removed her name from a joint bank account, and refused to pay her medical school tuition.
What a great person.
Yeah.
Blink. So good.
This part, at the time of Kathleen's disappearance, Robert had been dating Prudence Farrow, who is Mia Farrow's sister. If you don't know, Mia Farrow is an actress, for 3 years and was living in a separate apartment with her.
Wow.
Yep.
Gross.
But this is a cool side note, though. Prudence and Farrow is an American author, meditation teacher, and film producer. She is the daughter of film director John Farrow and actress Maureen O'Sullivan. Her younger sister is an actress, Mia Farrow. Prudence is the subject of the Beatles song Dear Prudence, which references her time studying transcendental meditation in Rishikesh with the Beatles in early 1968. And she also, Mia Farrow was married to Frank Sinatra. So they're high up there.
Yeah.
They're, famous.
Yeah.
Just, wouldn't it be crazy to think that you dated a freaking serial killer?
Yeah, literally.
And you're, a celebrity?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
It is.
So I just had to throw that cool side note in there, because, I don't blame Prudence, because she probably didn't know until after, and, she probably broke up with him after the fact. Probably I'm done with you. I would be. So, Robert Durst initially offered $100,000 for his wife's return, then reduced the award to $15,000. Excuse me?
Excuse me?
You're like, oh, 100,000 for her to return. And then you're like, no, I'm only going to give you 15,000.
Yeah.
Jeez.
In my head.
When one of Kathleen's friends and her sister learned that she had been reported missing, they broke into her South Salem cottage, hoping to find her. Instead, they discovered the residence ransacked, her mail unopened, and her belongings in the trash. After Kathleen McCormack's disappearance, the New York City Police Department said that Robert Durst had claimed to have last spoken to her when she called him from the Riverside Drive apartment. He maintained that the last time he had seen her was at Katana Station, where she was planning to board a 9:15 train to Manhattan. He also claimed that on February 4th, the supervisor at her medical school called him to say she had been absent from class all week after calling in sick on February 1st, where Kathleen herself had made that call. Well, Kathleen herself had made that call is unknown. We don't know if she actually did or not. Robert divorced Kathleen 8 years after her disappearance, claiming spousal abandonment.
Wow.
I literally wrote, wow, rude as hell.
Literally.
Like, what the?
Wow.
Oh, my wife's been missing for 8 years. I'm going to divorce her because, she abandoned me.
Yeah, she abandoned
Whenever
me.
nobody has heard from her. If she actually did abandon you, her family would know where she is.
Exactly.
Like, what the?
What is wrong with you?
I hate this guy. In 2016, her family asked to have Kathleen declared legally dead, a request that was granted the following year. Kathleen's mother, Anne McCormack, attempted to sue Robert for $100 million, alleging that he had killed her daughter and deprived her parents of the right to bury her. Her parents are now deceased, unfortunately, so they never were able to do that. Kathleen's younger sister, Mary McCormack Hughes, also believed that Robert Durst murdered her. The New York State Police quietly reopened the criminal investigation into the disappearance in 1999, searching the South Salem cottage for the first time. Which is also crazy. This is the first time you're investigating this cottage.
Mm-hmm.
The first time.
Shaking my head.
What the heck? The investigation became public in November 2000. So we're going to switch gears for a second. Susan Berman, a longtime friend of Robert Durst, who had facilitated his public alibi after his wife, Kathleen McCormack's disappearance, was the daughter of David Berman, a major Jewish-American organized crime figure who dominated illegal gambling and Depression-era Minneapolis, and later took over the Flamingo Hotel and Casino on the Las Vegas Strip. That was just like a tongue twister right there. So, I hate to say this because she is a victim too, but you really said that, like, he was with you?
Yeah.
Ugh, it's just so upsetting.
I know.
But she probably did it because she didn't really think that he actually did it. Just so sad. Again, I'm not blaming anybody, but I'm just like, never say that you're somebody's alibi if you're not with them.
Exactly.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. No matter what. Don't do it.
And in this situation, it wouldn't have ended up good for her either way.
Yeah.
Which is so sad and unfortunate.
It is.
You're good. So, on December 24th, 2000, Susan was found murdered execution style in her home in Benedict Canyon, Los Angeles, California, after her neighbors called police to report that her door was open and one of her dogs was loose. A few days later, a letter addressed to the Beverly Hills Police Department, postmarked December 23rd, contained Susan Berman's address and the word cadaver. On the envelope was Beverly, but it was misspelled as Beverly, Beverley. Robert Durst is known to have been in Northern California days before Susan's death and had to have flown from San Francisco to New York the night her body was discovered. Susan Berman had recently received $50,000 from Robert in 2 payments, although he confirmed to the Los Angeles Police Department that he had sent Susan $25,000 and faxed investigators a copy of her 1982 disposition regarding his missing wife. He declined to be further questioned about the murder. Suspicious.
Don't be suspicious.
I think from now on I'm just going to say LAPD or NYPD because that's so hard to say. My mouth doesn't want to move sometimes. Robert Durst said in a 2005 deposition that Susan Berman called him shortly before her death to say that the LAPD wanted to talk to her about Kathleen's disappearance. A study of case notes by The Guardian cast doubt on whether the LAPD had made such a call or whether then Westchester County District Attorney Janine Pirro had scheduled an interview with Susan at all. After being tipped off by his sister Wendy that Kathleen McCormack's investigation had been reopened, Robert went into hiding and moved to Galveston, Texas, disguising himself as a mute woman to avoid police inquiries.
Wow.
I literally wrote, WTF.
Wow.
WTF.
Literally.
You think you're gonna get away with being a woman?
A mute woman.
A mute woman.
Wow.
In Texas. Can you really do a disguise that well? And that was your first choice? That was your first choice? I don't know.
Oh my god. What is wrong with you?
Yep. Susan Berman's biographer, Kathy Scott, has asserted that Robert Durst killed her because she knew too much about his wife's disappearance. On November 15th, 2000, a Galveston landlord, Klaus Rene Dillman, was contacted by telephone by a man claiming to have served as an aide to a deaf-mute woman named Dorothy Siner. On October 9th, 2001, Robert Durst was arrested in Galveston shortly after body parts belonging to his elderly neighbor, 71-year-old Morris Black, were found, floating in Galveston Bay. He was released on $250,000 bail and missed a court hearing on October 16th, and a warrant was issued for his arrest on a charge of bail jumping.
Wow.
Yeah. Gets even crazier.
Mm-hmm.
On November 30th, Robert was caught inside a Wegmans supermarket in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, which is by Philadelphia.
Yeah.
After trying to shoplift Band-Aids, a newspaper, and a chicken salad sandwich, despite having $500 in cash in his pocket. Why?
Why? You're literally rich and you're gonna... Okay.
Steal?
Yeah.
Wow.
This shows what kind of person he is, I guess.
Yeah. Among the items discovered in his rental car were $37,000 in cash, 2 guns, marijuana, Morris Black's driver's license.
Wow.
And directions to Gilbert and Jamie's home in Connecticut, which, remember, was Kathleen's friend.
Mm-hmm.
He had his driver's license after you found Morris Black killed.
What more do you need?
Exactly. But no, we're going to let him go to jail a million times and get out.
Yeah.
And get acquitted and all that crap.
Good police work.
Robert Durst also used his time on the run to stalk his brother Douglas, visiting the driveway of his home in Katona, New York, while armed. Yeah. Robert employed defense attorney John Waldron while he was held on the charges in Pennsylvania. He was eventually extradited to Texas for trial. Not only that, he also stalked his brother.
Yeah. Add it to the list.
What the heck?
Guy has some serious issues.
Right? It could be because maybe he did see his mother's.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't. I don't know. That could mess you up at 7 years old, but at the same time, like, was it just that, though?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it other stuff?
Mm-hmm.
In 2003, Durst was tried for the murder of Morris Black. On the death of Morris, the prosecution presented to the jury with only a charge of capital murder, with no lesser murder or manslaughter charges. Robert employed defense attorney Dick DeGuerin and claimed self-defense. DeGuerin conducted 2 mock trials in preparation for the case. Robert's defense team found communicating with him to be difficult and hired psychiatrist Milton Altschuler to investigate. After spending 70 hours examining him, Milton diagnosed Robert with Asperger's syndrome, saying, quote, his whole life's history is so compatible with a diagnosis of Asperger's disorder, end quote. His defense team argued at trial that the diagnosis explained his behavior.
Not really.
Asperger's is a form of autism.
Yeah.
I don't know much. I mean, I'm not certified.
I had a friend that had that.
But I don't think that really justifies you killing somebody.
No, definitely not.
Let alone anything.
Yeah.
Like, it's justifiable that you act strange, you do strange things, you have quirkiness, but it doesn't give you the excuse to murder people or be a bad person.
People with autism don't have an urge to kill. Like, it's just you, buddy. It's just you. Like,
don't use that excuse. Oh, and he tries to use other excuses later.
Yeah.
He tries to use other excuses later, and it's just like, what the, like, what the actual F? Robert claimed that Morris Black, a cranky and confrontational loner, grabbed his .22 caliber target pistol from its hiding place and threatened him with it. Yeah, sure. During the struggle for the pistol, the weapon discharged and shot Black in the face. During cross-examination, Robert admitted to using a paring knife, 2 saws, and an axe to dismember Morris's Black's body before bagging and dumping his remains in Galveston Bay. If it was an accident, you wouldn't be like, oh, let me get a paring knife, let me get 2 saws, let me get an axe, and let me dismember this body and throw it in the river.
Literally.
You'd be like, oh crap, I accidentally killed somebody, let me call the police.
Exactly.
Like, what the?
Well,
in the first place, don't try to take a gun from somebody.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you went into his home unannounced and he was just trying to defend himself. There's other reasons to why he could have been pointing his gun at you.
Morris.
Right? What is wrong with you?
I know. I hate him.
Morris's Black's head was never recovered, so prosecutors were unable to present sufficient forensic evidence to dispute Robert's account of the struggle. As a result of lack of forensics, the jury acquitted Durst of murder on November 13th, 2003. I literally wrote, OMG, no, just convict him.
Literally.
I wrote all in caps, like, just put him away. Like, what the heck?
What is wrong with everybody in this? Like,
on December 21st, 2004, Robert pleaded guilty to 2 counts of bail jumping and 1 count of evidence tampering for his dismemberment of Morris's Black's body. As part of a plea bargain, he received a sentence of 5 years and was given credit for time served, requiring him to serve 3 years in prison. Robert was paroled on July 15th, 2005.
3 years.
With the time accounted for.
For dismembering somebody and murdering them. In cold blood. What sense does that even make?
Right? I feel like even if he, theoretically, hypothetically, in a different universe, if he didn't kill Morris Black on purpose or whatever, and he did dismember the body, still, you only get 3 years for dismembering a human body?
Yeah, literally.
You know how messed up in the head you have to be to dismember a freaking body? I can't even stand to see blood, like a cut.
I know.
I'm about to pass out because I get so queasy. Like, let alone being able to dismember somebody. You have to be all kinds of messed up in the head.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, what the? Oh my god. Oh my god.
What is wrong with you?
The rules of his release required him to stay near his home. Permission was required to travel. That December, Robert made an unauthorized trip to the boarding house where Morris Black was killed and to a nearby shopping mall. At the mall, he ran into former Galveston trial judge Susan Criss, who had presided over his trial. Due to the incident, the Texas Board of Pardons and Paroles determined that Robert had violated the terms of his parole and returned him to jail. He was released again from custody on March 1st, 2006. I literally just put, oh my god, stay in prison. Like, really? July 2014, Robert was arrested after turning himself in to police following an incident at Houston CVS drugstore in which he allegedly exposed his genitalia without provocation and urinated on a rack of candy. He then left the store and casually walked down the street. He was charged with misdemeanor criminal mischief.
What is wrong with you?
Yeah. Then in December 2014, he pleaded no contest and was fined $500. His lawyer described the incident as an unfortunate medical mishap. Recording the incident was released on videotape in 2015.
An unfortunate medical mishap.
Oh, let me take out my... and pee on everything. In the middle of a store.
Sorry, it was a medical accident. Huh?
Like, what?
What? In what world?
Medically messed up in the head.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Asked in March 2015 whether she believed... Susan Criss was asked in March 2015 whether she believed Robert Durst murdered Morris Black. She commented saying, quote, "You could see that this person knew what they were doing and that it was not a first time. The body was cut perfectly, like a surgeon who knew how to use this tool on a bone and certain type of tool on that muscle. It looked like not a first-time job. That was pretty scary." end quote.
Oh my gosh.
Also, what's up with me and doing like surgeons? I always cover surgeons because
there
Buck
has been
Ruxton
some.
was a surgeon.
Mhm.
I mean, he obviously he's not a surgeon,
Yeah.
but like things about surgeon and
Mhm.
dismembering, I don't know. Private investigator Bobby Bacha argues Morris Black had known Robert Durst years prior and was likely involved in the disappearance of Robert Durst's wife Kathleen in 1982. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Kind of far-fetched to me.
Mhm.
Robert Durst's notoriety appeared in the 2010 film All Good Things, the title of which is a reference to the Vermont health food store of the name set up by Robert Durst and Kathleen McCormack. David Marks, the character based on Robert, was portrayed by Ryan Gosling, and his wife Katie was portrayed by I think I had to put his wife Kathy was portrayed by Kirsten Dunst. Shortly after its theatrical release, Robert Durst contacted director Andrew Jarecki and expressed his approval for the film, which evolved into discussion between the two of them being included on the DVD video release and eventually resulting in Jarecki co-writing, co-producing, directing, and appearing in the 2015 documentary series The Jinx, The Life and Deaths of Robert Durst, which broadcast on HBO. During the production of The Jinx, Susan Berman's stepson uncovered a 1999 letter written by Robert Durst, which contained the name Beverly Hills typographically error as an anonymous letter directing the police to Susan Berman's body, implicating Robert in the murder, because he spelled it Beverley. Andrew Jarecki and producers Mark Smerling and Zach Stewart Pontier realized that they had uncovered potential criminal evidence and delivered the second letter to the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. The new information led to Durst's indictment for the first-degree murder of Susan Berman. The FBI arrested Durst in New Orleans on the eve of the broadcast of the final episode of The Jinx because he confessed. Where's my
Literally
phone?
on camera.
Well,
He didn't know they were recording.
on
it.
accident,
Yeah,
on
accident.
camera,
Yeah.
which is still crazy. So I'm gonna play you that clip because it's insane. I didn't know that had that all in that. I'm sorry. I might take that out actually. Why couldn't they like just make the audio different?
I know. Was
But-
that another video?
I don't know. Because I tried finding another one, but you still hear it. Was that actually in the film?
It wasn't on the show.
It was?
No, it
It
wasn't.
wasn't?
But they might have taken it out just because it was on TV.
I wish they just like... Yeah, I think I might just take that out because...
There's that. Just what he says.
Yeah. Or I might just... I have what he says anyway, so I might
Yeah.
just take that out. I'm sorry we had to listen to that.
No, that's okay.
I did not... So I listened to like the beginning part. I didn't listen to like all of it.
Yeah.
But The Jinx ends with Robert Durst moving into the bathroom where his microphone records him seemingly saying to himself, "There it is. You're caught. You're right, of course. But you can't imagine the rest of them. I don't know what's in the house. Oh, I want this. What a disaster. He was right. I was wrong." And the burping. I'm having difficulty with the question. What the hell did I do? Killed them all, of course. So it's just like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So, it later became known in 2019 the filmmakers altered the sequence of Robert's comments, increasing their apparent severity of his musings in the bathroom. In November 2023, I don't know, I said that like 2023, HBO announced The Jinx Part 2, a 6-episode continuation of the series, and was in production with the same producers and director and premiered on April 21st, 2024. Part 2 covers the 8 years between the original series in 2015 to present time, including new interviews, hidden material, and Robert Durst's prison calls. On March 14th, 2015, a few days after the first-degree murder warrant was signed by Los Angeles judge alleging the role by Robert Durst in relation to Susan Berman's murder, Durst was arrested by FBI agents at the Canal Street Marriott in New Orleans, where he had registered under the false name of Everett Ward. Robert, who had been tracked to the hotel after making 2 calls to check his voicemail, was observed wandering aimlessly in the lobby and mumbling to himself, having driven to New Orleans from Houston 4 days before. In addition to a .38 caliber revolver loaded with 4 live rounds, and 1 spent shell casing. I can't stop thinking. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I'm disturbed by it. I know you probably are too. I am sorry. Oh, bad time to laugh. Police recovered 5 ounces of marijuana, Robert Durst's birth certificate, and a passport. Maps of Louisiana, Florida, and Cuba, a flesh-tone latex mask, the fake Texas ID card used to check into the hotel, a new cell phone, cash totaling $42,631. Police discovered a UPS tracking number, which led an additional $117,000 in cash, a pair of shoes, and the package. Sent to Durst by a friend in New York, which was seized after his arrest. Bank statements found in one of Robert Durst's Houston condos revealed cash withdrawals of $315,000, a little more than a month. It is believed he planned to flee to Cuba after the HBO documentary aired, since the United States and Cuba have no extradition treaty. On March 15th, 2015, New York State Police investigator Joseph Becerra, long involved with the Kathleen McCormack case, said to have been working closely with FBI and LAPD detectives, removed some 60 file boxes of Robert's personal papers and effects from the home of his friend Susan T. Giordano. I'm sorry if I butchered that. In Campbell Hall, New York. All these items had been sent to Susan T. for keeping 3 years prior than Robert's then-wife, Deborah Lee Charton. Also stored at her residence were videotaped depositions of Robert, his brother Douglas, and Debbie, all of which were related to the Black case. LAPD, no, that's not what that says. Los Angeles County Deputy District and Attorney John Lewin, in charge of prosecuting Robert Durst, immediately flew to New Orleans after his arrest. With Robert's permission, Lewin interviewed him for 3 hours without a lawyer present. The recorded questioning was later introduced as evidence in Susan Berman's trial. In regards to the investigation, Lewin claimed to have found information uncovered by the filmmakers of the Jinx to be compelling, and repeatedly flew to New York to interview witnesses, including friends of Robert and Susan's. On March 16th, 2015, DeGuerin advised court authorities in New Orleans that Durst waived extradition and would voluntarily return to California. Later that same day, Louisiana State Police filed charges against Robert Durst for being a felon in possession of a firearm and for possession of a firearm with controlled substance. I thought I rewrote it. That's why, because I was like, oh. First, forestalling his immediate return to California. Orleans Parish District Attorney Leon Canizario commented in light of the convictions that would influence Durst's sentencing. Just for those guns charges here in Louisiana, he could face up to life in prison. But will he, though? And failing to produce oh my god. Okay, get it together. In failing to produce the arresting officer subpoenaed for a probable cause hearing, Robert Durst's attorneys charged the Louisiana prosecutors engaged in a misguided attempt to conceal the facts from the court and the defendant and the public. Peter Mansfield, an assistant U.S. attorney, said that his office constructed of 2 FBI agents and arresting officer, not to appear. Arguing that DeGuerin's subpoenas were issued in an attempt to conduct actions against them in their official capacities for the purpose of obtaining testimony, information, and material maintained under the color of their official duties. On April 8th, 2015, a day after the U.S. attorney filed an independent federal weapons charge, Robert was formally indicted by Louisiana grand jury for carrying a weapon with controlled substance and for illegal possession of a firearm by a felon. Later that month, Robert's lawyers requested more than $193,000 seized by authorities during their searches to be returned, saying the cash is not needed as evidence. It is contraband and is not subject to forfeiture. After negotiations with his defense team, Louisiana authorities ultimately dropped weapons charges against Robert Durst on April 23, 2015. Robert Durst's trial on federal weapons was scheduled for September 21, 2015. DeGuerin confirmed rumors that he was in poor health, stating he had suffered from hydrocephalus, which was a condition where fluids fill up in the brain, and had a shunt put in his skull 2 years before, as well as a spinal surgery and a cancerous mass removed from his esophagus. I'm sorry. I'm struggling.
It's okay.
I just feel bad. Like, I don't know. I feel like we've been going for a while, and I'm just like... Robert Durst's attorneys requested a later date for the federal weapons trial, saying they would need more time to prepare rulings on pending motions. U.S. District Judge Helen Berrigan later rescheduled the trial again to January 11, 2016. On November 16, 2015, a New Orleans federal judge ordered Robert to be rearraigned on weapons charges, scheduled for a hearing on December 15th. When asked, Robert's attorney said that only he did not kill Susan Berman, and that he wanted to resolve the other charges to expedite Robert Durst's extradition to Los Angeles to face that charge. On December 16, 2015, prosecutors' defense attorneys told Berrigan in a joint motion that scheduling conflicts ruled out dates before a January 11th trial date. Berrigan also ultimately rescheduled the trial for February 3rd, 2016, and Robert Durst charged his plea to guilty to the federal gun charge and received an 85-month prison sentence. 85 months? It's like just over... That's just over... I don't know how many years that is. I can't do the math in my head. My brain's not working. Robert Durst's trial concerning Susan Berman's murder was scheduled to begin in Los Angeles after he was arraigned in California, but his transfer was delayed in the U.S. Bureau of Prisons due to serious surgery, according to DeGuerin. A conditional hearing was convened in February 2017 where Nick Chavin, a close friend of Robert's, at whose wedding Robert served as best man, testified that Robert Durst had personally confided to having murdered Susan Berman. If he confessed it to you, why are you just now speaking up?
Exactly. Why? This case made me so mad.
A preliminary hearing was initially scheduled for October 2016 and was postponed to April 2018 to accommodate Robert's defense team, some of whom suffered damage to their homes and offices during Hurricane Harvey. The pretrial hearings included extensive testimony from a number of older witnesses who potentially would not be available when the trial itself began. In October 2018, Los Angeles County Superior Judge Mark Wyndham ruled that the evidence existed to try Robert for the murder of Susan Berman and that he would be arraigned November 8, 2018. During his court appearance the following day, he pleaded not guilty. Of course. In January 2019, Wyndham set Robert's trial date as September 3rd, 2019. At the same time, Judge Wyndham ruled that prosecutors could present evidence involving the Morris Black murders. Prosecutor would try to connect Susan's death with Kathleen's disappearance, which they argued was a foundation for the motive for the murder. In his ruling that the prosecutors could use evidence from the Texas case, Judge Wyndham said the killings of Morris Black and Susan Berman seemed to be too intertwined. The murder charge against Robert Durst included the special circumstance allegations of lying in wait and killing a witness to a crime. It was further alleged that Robert Durst had used a handgun to carry out the murder. In May of 2019, a motion filed by Robert Durst's attorneys claimed to have two handwriting samples, the anonymous cadaver note to Beverly Hills Police and a letter in 1999 from Robert to Susan, along with other evidence from his 2015 arrests, were obtained in violation of the Fourth Amendment, then moving for their exclusion. On May 8th, Los Angeles County prosecutors filed an affidavit replying to the motion, charging that Robert Durst was creating an elaborate conspiracy theory between the HBO filmmakers, law enforcement officers, and Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office to make Robert Durst incriminate himself. On May 17th, Wyndham granted Robert Durst's defense team a 4-month postponement of his trial after they raised concerns about the volume of evidence in the case that conflicts with attorneys' schedules. In October 2019, a wrongful death lawsuit against Robert filed by another one of Kathleen's sisters, Carol Bamonte, was dismissed on grounds that she had waited too long to sue. In 2018, the U.S. Court of Appeals had revised the date of Kathleen McCormack's death to match the January 1982 date she disappeared, which is messed up.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you waited 8 years to say, like, rule her as dead, like, put her as dead, it should be like 8 years after that. Yeah. It shouldn't be the day that she disappeared. On September 3rd, 2019, Wyndham rejected an attempt by Robert Durst's attorney to strip the producers of the Jinx of the protection under California journalist shield law by having them declare governmental agents. A number of other procedural rulings also went against Robert Durst. Lewin set another hearing on discovery and other matters for October 28th. Additional evidential hearings were held December 2019 regarding the admissibility of statements Robert Durst made in the March 2015, just after his arrest in New Orleans, and the interview with Lewin. Because, again, a lawyer wasn't present, so... Mm-hmm. In the surprise move on December 24th, 2019, Robert's lawyers contradicted his previous statements and filled court documents admitting that he wrote the cadaver note. In all previous statements, Durst consistently had denied writing the note, although the handwriting appeared to be similar in his own, as he spelled the word Beverly, containing the prior letter in Susan Berman that Robert admitted to authoring. During the filming of The Jinx, he told filmmakers that the person who wrote the cadaver note was taking a big risk because it was something that only the killer could have written. He told his godson, Howard Altman, the person who wrote the note killed her. However, in 2019, Robert's attorneys also argued, quote, what the note demonstrates is that the person who mailed it was aware that there was a body at the house, not that the individual murdered Susan Berman, end quote.
Wow.
You got him saying that the person who wrote the note was the person who killed her. So I think the person who wrote the note is the person who killed her.
Yeah.
Because he's admitting right there, I killed her. Again. Right? So this next one, this next paragraph, if you're sensitive around the COVID-19 pandemic, I would skip ahead. There's really nothing to it. It's just, but if you are, I know some people are, so go ahead and skip ahead. On March 2nd, 2020, Durst appeared in court to begin his trial, which was expected to take several months. However, the proceedings were postponed amid the COVID-19 pandemic. In June 2020, a motion by the defense for a mistrial because the delay was denied. The following month, Wyndham ruled that a further delay until April 2021 was necessary due to the pandemic, but he would also allow the trial to proceed if Robert Durst agreed to bench a trial without a jury. Durst declined this option, and the trial was rescheduled to resume April 12, 2021, and then was postponed until May 17, 2021. It's like, geez, how many times are you going to let him go to prison? How many times are you going to postpone the freaking trials? On May 13th, Robert Durst lawyers filed a motion with the court saying Robert Durst had developed bladder cancer and moved the court postpone the trial indefinitely and to release him on bail to receive medical treatment that was currently being provided. The motion was denied by the court and the trial resumed on May 17th, with Wyndham questioning jurors about whether they could still remain neutral in the case after a 14-month break. It just seems to me that his lawyers were like, oh, we're just going to try to get it to be delayed again and again and again and again. Like, what the heck? On June 10th, 2021, Robert Durst was hospitalized after being found, quote, down and not in his wheelchair, end quote. Wyndham sent the jury home with plans to resume on June 14th. Lewin expressed suspicion that the defendant was faking medical crises to force a mistrial because he was on record in his calls from county jail saying he intended to feign dementia or seek a mistrial due to COVID-19. I have no idea whether this is legitimate or not, but obviously given his history, it's certainly suspect to what his actual condition is, Lewin said. Noting that his lawyers had twice sought mistrials during the previous day's testimonies, the prosecutor added, quote, it's very clear the defense and the defendant want this trial to go away, end quote. Yeah. Jail doctors determined Robert Durst was able to appear in court after the emergency hospitalization, which was for a urinary tract infection and sepsis. Wyndham reconvened on the trial on June 14th. Durst was unable to dress himself and was in court in a wheelchair, jail uniform with a catheter bag, and covered in a large blanket. On May 17th, 2021, during Robert's trial for Susan Berman's murder, Westchester County District Attorney Mimi Rakaw announced that Kathleen McCormack's disappearance had been reclassified as a murder and would be reinvestigated. In October 2021, shortly after Robert's first-degree conviction in the Susan Berman case, Westchester County prosecutors announced that they would impanel a grand jury to explore charges against Durst in Kathleen McCormack's case. He was officially charged with her murder on October 22nd, 2021.
Hey,
Finally!
Finally! Seriously.
As the testimony continued, which Okay, let me just do the math really quick. So, 2021 minus 1982. After 39 years. What?
That's insane.
As testimony continued, Robert Durst's brother, Douglas, appeared as a prosecution witness on June 28, 2021, saying that he was reluctant to appear at the trial and was doing so under threat of a subpoena. Douglas was asked about his relationship with his brother. Douglas, quote, "He'd like to murder me. I hired security today. I have a fear that my brother has threatened to kill me, and I have fear that he may have the means to do so," end quote. What?
Wow.
Even your brother thinks that you're gonna kill him.
Yeah.
On July 29, 2021, Robert's defense team asked again for emergency halt to the case based on his poor medical condition, saying he was not able to testify on his own behalf, but was again rejected on August 2nd, with Wyndham giving numerous examples of his competency. The prosecution closed its case against Durst after 11 weeks of presenting evidence primarily consisting of friends and associates of Susan Berman, saying she told him she was the alibi for Robert Durst when his wife disappeared, and that he had done something and he needed to do something as well. Chavin testified that Durst told him, quote, "I had to. It was her or me. I had no choice."
Wow.
The defense opened up with its case with extensive testimony from false memory expert Elizabeth Loftus questioning the decades ago recollections of prosecution witnesses. Although highly unusual for a murder case, Robert himself was expected to testify on his own behalf on August 5th, 2021, but the court adjourned until August 9th due to a positive COVID-19 test of a relative of his legal team who had been attending the trial. Robert Durst appeared on stand for 14 days under questioning from Lewin, who gave him seemingly endless examples of Durst's propensity to lie. Lewin cornered him to the point admitting lying under oath. Lewin cornered Robert to the point he actually admitted lying while under the oath in the Morris Black trial in 2003, and that he lied 5 times while on stand at the present trial. Durst and Loftus were the only witnesses the defense called. On September 14th, 2021, the jury charged with a reaching verdict by Judge Wyndham. On September 17th, 2021, the jury convicted Robert Durst for first-degree murder of Susan Berman. Durst thus faced the possibility of a life sentence. He was also found guilty of multiple special charges. His lawyers said that he was disappointed he would pursue all avenues of appeal. Oh, his lawyers were disappointed, and they would pursue all avenues of appeal, of course.
Yeah.
On September 24th, Durst's lawyers filed a motion with Wyndham to request a new trial. The reasoning... I was going to say the seasoning.
The seasoning.
The seasoning was basically the thing they gave. The reasoning... I'm sorry, I'm thinking about food right now. Subconsciously, I guess. I don't know. The reasoning was basically the same as they gave in his trial defense. No physical evidence was presented. Witnesses for the prosecution were not to be believed, and the entire prosecution case was nothing but an unproven theory. Of course they would say that. Of course. On October 14, 2021, Robert Durst was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole for Susan Berman's murder. The request from Robert for a new trial was denied by the court of view in the absence of evidence of Durst's guilt. Following the murder conviction, his legal team immediately filed appeals in California legal system. As such, Durst's appeals may have been dismissed by the California Court of Appeal, and the conviction set aside, and his death prevented the appeals from being heard. Spoiler alert, he dies. So, it's going to get to the point here where I'm going to go back and forth a little bit. Mm-hmm. We're going to go back to the 2000 really quick. Because this stuff I couldn't add at the beginning because it would give away a lot of the stuff. But... on December 11th, 2000, shortly before the Susan Berman killing, Durst married Deborah Lee Chartan. According to New York Times, the couple had briefly shared a Fifth Avenue apartment in 1990, but have never lived together as husband and wife. Another trigger warning for suicide, really quickly. If you want to skip 30 seconds, go ahead. Robert Durst once told his sister Wendy that it was a marriage of convenience. I wanted Debbie to be able to receive my inheritance, and I intended to kill myself.
Wow.
Durst said in a 2005 deposition. When Durst was arrested for a Morris Black killing in 2001, Debbie Chartan wired him the $250,000 bail that the court required. She also visited him in jail and spoke with him on the phone on a regular basis, discussing his legal strategy and other personal and business issues. Following the Morris Black trial, Debbie reportedly distanced herself from Robert and his affairs, legal and otherwise. In particular, Debbie specifically told him not to get involved with the Jinx, which he disagreed to at the time.
I remember that. They showed her talking to him.
Yeah. Debbie's friends said that after his arrest in 2015, she had not spoken with him since the documentary had begun airing in February. Which is crazy. Like, she told him not to, and then that's the thing that got him.
I remember she was like, no matter what, whatever you do, I'm going to be there for you. I'm like,
what?
huh?
No. Hard pass.
No.
Red flag.
Red flag guy, where you at?
Woo! Despite still being married to him, Debbie Chartan was reported to be living with Stephen Holm in 2015. Stephen Holm was a real estate attorney in New York City area who handled transactions for them both, Debbie and Robert. It was reported in the Real Estate Weekly that Stephen Holm died October 17, 2019, and Debbie Chartan was his wife. Debbie was called his wife at his funeral, in his obituary online, and in the obituary in the New York Times. Shortly after, Debbie sent the Times a letter saying that she and Stephen were not married and asked them to print a retraction. Debbie and Stephen were involved with several philanthropic ventures together. Shortly after, Robert Durst was convicted of murdering Susan Berman in September 2021. A lawyer for the family of Kathleen McCormack sent Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance Jr. a letter claiming that the marriage between Robert and Debbie Chartan was a sham solely to aid and abet Robert's financial crimes and murders, and to conceal those acts and to frustrate investigation into same. The letter asked Vance's office to investigate these claims and also the issue of Robert Durst being a bigamist because of Debbie Chartan's publicly claimed marriage to Stephen Holm. The letter was the second time that Kathleen McCormack's family asked for the Manhattan District office attorneys. Oh, I said that backwards. District Attorney's Office to look into these issues. The first time was in March 2020. Robert Durst traveled and lived under dozens of aliases through the years, using different identities to buy cars, rent apartments, and open credit card accounts. Quote, he had a scanner, copier, and a laminating machine, a former office employee of Durst told Newsweek. What I didn't realize was that I unwittingly saw what would have allowed Robert Durst to make a fake driver's license. Durst was a prolific user of private mailboxes and apparently conducted businesses under a name of canine-themed names. Woofing LLC, Woof Woof LLC, and Igor Fayette Inc., like Incorporated. Which, skip ahead 20 seconds if you don't want to hear about animal cruelty. Trigger warning. This is going to be hard. In early 1980s, Robert Durst owned a series of 7 Alaskan Malamutes, all of which were named Igor, and all of which died in mysterious circumstances. According to his brother Douglas, in December 2014, prior to the airing of The Jinx, Douglas told The Times, in retrospect, I now believe he was practically killing and disposing of his wife with those dogs. Practicing, I mean. Did I say practically?
I don't know.
Practicing. He said, I believe he was practicing killing and disposing of his wife with those dogs. Robert Durst was once recorded saying he wanted Igor... What? Oh, Robert Durst was once recorded saying he wanted Igor Douglas. Robert, however, disputed that the assertion that he owned 7 dogs named Igor. He owned 3, he said. One was run over and another one died in surgery after eating an apple core. Before the Igor, that lasted forever. Which is sad.
That is sad.
If you hurt animals, I hate you.
We hate you.
If you kill people, I hate you. From 2015 on, Robert Durst had a number of significant medical issues, including major surgeries for esophageal cancer, having a shunt installed in his brain for hydrocephalus, and a cervical spine fusion. When arrested in New Orleans in 2015, he was found to be in possession of a variety of drugs, including the sleep aid melatonin, a muscle relaxant, and medications for high blood pressure, blood flow, and acid reflux. Which most of those things are normal, like sleep, like melatonin's normal. Acid reflux is normal. If you have high blood pressure, that's normal. But like all of those together on top of everything is just weird. During the Susan Berman murder trial, Durst's lawyers told the court he had bladder cancer. On October 16th, I already went through that. I don't have to say that. But he was tested positive for COVID and was placed on a ventilator. I don't want to go too much into that because I'm sorry, I can't talk about that with my dad and everything. So he was just in very bad condition, but he survived it, so I don't care. Sorry, I can't. Like, that's a trigger warning for me. Media outlets variously reported Durst's financial status as real estate baron, rich scion, millionaire, multimillionaire, and billionaire. As of 2021, the Durst family's real estate holdings are worth more than $8 billion. But Robert's brother Douglas had been in control of the Durst organization since the early 1990s. From about 1994 to 2006, Robert Durst waged a legal campaign to gain greater control of the family trust and fortune. During that time, he received $2 million a year from the trust. In 2006, the case was settled, the Durst giving up any interest in the family's properties and trust in exchange for a one-time payment of about $65 million. How much of that went to the legal fees and taxes is unknown. Robert Durst remained active in the real estate. He reportedly sold 2 properties in 2014 for $21.15 million, after purchasing them in 2011 for $8.65 million. At this time of his 2015 arrest, the FBI estimated Durst's net worth was approximately at $100 million. The New York Times estimated his worth to be $110 million.
He didn't deserve it.
Nope. And it gets even crazier. In mid-2002, Durst signed over power of attorney to Debbie Charlton, and their holdings are thought to have remained closely intermingled. In 2006, Durst gave Debbie around $20 million of his $65 million trust settlement. In 2011, Durst purchased $1.5 million townhouse on Lenox Avenue in Harlem. A source close to the Durst family confirmed that he was living there at least some of the time and they were keeping him under surveillance. Robert Durst also owned 3 condos and multi-story complex in Houston. After filing the suit, received a $200,000 settlement in 2006 from a Houston developer who refused to let him move into a newly purchased unit by his wife, which she had then immediately resold to the Durst for $10.
Wow.
At the time of Berman's murder in Los Angeles, Durst had just sold a home in Trinidad, California, and maintained an office in Eureka while renting a nearby Big Lagoon. We're almost there. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Just a little bit left. Hang in there. I know this one's a long one. Sorry. I might cut it into 2. I don't know. Yeah. That's if I can even find a spot for it. On May 1st, 2015, the New York Post reported that Douglas Durst had settled litigation against Andrew Jarecki, having confirmed that Robert Durst was the source of videotaped dispositions that appeared in the Jinx. Durst's disclosure apparently violated terms of his 2006 agreement with his family, which had disbursed him a lump sum of trust assets. Whether Jarecki confirmed Durst as his source was unclear. The New York Times reported in March 2015 that he was given unrestricted access. Durst's personal records, including the videotape material, but the settlement paved the way for Douglas to reclaim as much as $74 million of his brother's assets, effectively freezing those assets pending court judgment. This would potentially affect Durst's ability to pay for high-caliber legal representation without tapping into real estate or other investments. The Post reported that Douglas was mulling his next move, but no legal action had been taken. In November 2015, Kathleen McCormack's 3 sisters and 101-year-old grandmother sued Durst for $100 million, citing his apparent role in her murder and his denial to her family of the right to sulfur. Or spulture. How do you say that word? Spulture? Spulture?
I don't even know what that is.
It's a quote, so I'm using it. A New York law that grants immediate relatives access to deceased person's body and the opportunity to determine appropriate burial. If successful, the lawsuit would have relieved Robert Durst's estate or most of the fortune that he inherited. Kathleen McCormack's brother James had attempted in October 2015 to file a wrongful death suit against Durst on behalf of his mother, but was challenged by one of his sisters who held her mother's power of attorney, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
On December 7th, 2015, the same family members filed a suit asking the court to freeze Durst's assets. Kathleen McCormack's family attorney, Robert Abrams, called Durst a poster child for why courts block defendants from disposing of assets while civil lawsuits are pending. In January 2016, the family asked the surrogates court in Manhattan to declare Kathy died on January 31st, 1982, when she was murdered by her husband, Robert Durst, so that the lawsuit could proceed. The court granted the request and Kathleen was declared dead in 2017. In 2021, Durst was among listed in the Pandora Papers leak. exposing the offshore sheltering of financial assets by hundreds of political businesses and celebrities. Why is talking getting hard? We're almost done. Just a little bit more, like 3 more topics and we're done. In 2013 and 2012, I said that backwards, but whatever. Durst's family members sought and received restraining orders against him, saying they were afraid of him. Robert Durst was charged with trespassing in New York City for walking in front of townhouses owned by his brother Douglas and other family members. He went on trial and was acquitted in December 2014. The judge also vacated the 13 orders of protection from his family The judge also vacated the 13 orders of protection that his family members had taken out on him. So they just took it right back. They're like, oh, you don't need this anymore. Yeah. You're fine. He might murder you, but it's okay. Yeah. What is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you?
Did you hear that there are other possible connections to him?
Mm-mm. Oh, God. I believe it. I definitely believe it. Oh, wait. Yeah, I think they might have said that towards the end.
So I'm going to go over a little bit just quickly. We have this and then his death and then we're done. I'm sorry. This one's pretty long. Okay. I was not expecting it to be this long. Okay. And I know it was mostly about the trial, so I'm sorry I didn't. Okay. And then I'm going to probably take the clip out. I'm sorry. I scarred you for life. I scarred myself for life.
That was just pretty freaking funny.
I might put it in at the end. I don't know.
The blooper reel. Yeah.
The blooper spears.
Blooper spears!
So, and I feel like my voice is getting shot. There were other possible connections to Robert Durst. Days after Susan Berman's murder, police were reportedly examining connections between Robert Durst and the disappearances of 18-year-old Lynn Schultz from Millbury, Vermont, and 16-year-old Karen Mitchell from Eureka, California. Investigators were also considering a possible connection between him and the disappearance of 18-year-old Kristen Modafferi, who was last seen in San Francisco in 1997. Lynn Schultz was a Middlebury College freshman, visited Robert Durst's health food store on December 10th, 1971, the day she disappeared, and was last seen that afternoon near a bus stop from the store. Author and investigative journalist Matt Burbeck reported in 2003 and again in 2015 book A Deadly Secret that credit card reports placed Robert Durst in Eureka on November 25th, 1997, the day Karen Mitchell vanished. Karen may have volunteered in a homeless shelter that Robert frequented when Robert dressed in women's clothing and had visited the Eureka shoe store owned by Karen's aunt. She was last seen walking to her work from her aunt's store and possibly speaking to someone in a stopped car. A witness sketch of Karen Mitchell's presumed abductor resembles Robert Durst. Although the FBI ultimately could not connect him to the Long Island serial murders in which some victims were disposed of in similar manners to the Morris Black killing, the Bureau created an informal task force in 2012 to work with investigative agencies and jurisdictions that Robert Durst had known to have lived in past decades, including Vermont, New York, and California. In the wake of his arrest, the FBI encouraged such localities to re-examine cold cases. Texas private investigator Bobby Bacha also traced Robert operating under stolen identities in Texas, Florida, Massachusetts, New Jersey, South Carolina, Mississippi, and Virginia. His death, Robert died of cardiac arrest in San Quentin, Joaquin, General Hospital in French Camp, California on January 10th, 2022, at age 78. He had been undergoing testing where he went into cardiac arrest and did not respond to resuscitation. At the time of his death, he remained in the custody of the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. One last thing. In January 2022, Kathleen McCormack's family filed a wrongful death suit against Durst estate. This was the fourth similar civil acts. Oh my God. This was the fourth similar civil suit that the family had filed since 2015, attempting to claim all or part of Durst's assets. In response to the federal judge in the Southern District of New York ruled that Durst's second wife and heir, Deborah Chartan, may not do anything with the $100 million estate. The court documents say Debbie Chartan and or her attorney must appear in court on March 25th, 2022, and show cause why the order should not be issued. In March 2023, a federal court judge ruled that the case of wrongful death filed by Kathleen Durst's family. Oh wait, by Kathy Oh, yeah, I had that wrong. Filed by Kathleen McCormack's family against the estate of Robert Durst could proceed. In the ruling, the judge wrote that the lawsuit filed was not ultimately because of Robert Durst's death. A conference was scheduled for April 2023. I tried looking into it. I couldn't find anything else, so I don't know how that went. But, yeah, he's a terrible person.
Yes, he is.
And you know what he looks like because you've seen pictures.
You haven't watched The Jinx? Watch it.
Yeah, go watch The Jinx.
Crazy.
It's crazy. And, like, I knew about this case, but I didn't know about it to the detail as I knew. And then, like, Jeremy was like, you know who you should cover? And I was like, who? And, like, it surprises me every time that he's like, you should cover this, you should cover that. Because he's not into true crime at all. So and he was like, yeah. He was like, he was scrolling through, because we do TikTok, but he does YouTube shorts, and he was scrolling through there and he saw something about it. So then he was like, you should cover this person. And I was like, okay. And then whenever I was leaving, I was like, guess who I'm covering? And I was like, it's one of the people you told me to cover. And he was like, which one? And I was like, Robert Durst. He's like, oh, is that guy that was on that show and that confessed? I was like, yeah. And he was like, okay, cool. Like, he knows like the gist of it, but like he didn't know much about it.
Also, I know you said you've been doing you've done like a bunch of surgeons.
Yeah.
And that reminds me, there's 2 cases I want to do. Maybe I'll make it like into one episode. I don't know, depending on how long they are. But there's a show called Dr. Death, and basically it's about 2 different people. Season 1 is about one person, then season 2 is about a different person. And I'm not going to spoil it because I'm going to cover it, and it's insane.
Can you tell me after? Because I want to know, because I was looking into, I wasn't looking, but I heard of, like, forever ago, like, over a year ago, like, whenever we first started, I was looking into people to cover, and that's whenever I found, it was for our first episode, I think. That's whenever I found Harvey Miguel Robinson.
Yeah.
Was his last name Robinson?
Yeah.
Okay. And, he was one, like, that one was one of the things. I think the one that I was looking up was Carlisle something, but he was from, like, olden times, because I like to cover old cases, but here you guys got a more recent case.
Yes,
because he was just prosecuted in 2021 or whatever. And that's another thing that Jeremy said. He was like, he got away with murder for like forever, and that's like one of the things that he knew about.
Yep.
But I just love whenever he like says, because he doesn't listen, because he doesn't like true crime. I don't know, he might listen. If he listens, then he's gonna hear me singing. I don't think he listens, but It's just funny that he will like be like, hey, you should cover this person. I don't know, I just love that. Even though he doesn't listen, it's just awesome. I don't know. I really feel like my voice is like dying.
It is okay.
Oh, my laptop's dying too.
Make sure you all stay for the
blooper reel at the end.
Blooper spears.
Yes. At the end.
At the end.
We were funny this episode.
We were.
I mean, we're funny every episode.
Yes.
But this episode especially, because I've had a bad week. So anytime I get to be here and record with you, even though we're talking about awful stuff, it just makes my day better.
Same.
Just talking to you makes my day better. That's why we're best friends.
Exactly.
So if you would like, you can follow, like, share, comment on our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dreadfully Twisted Podcast, because guess what? We still have TikTok for at least 90 days.
Yay.
Which is funny. My coworker came up to me the other day, the coworker that listens. He came up to me and he was like, is your TikTok working? And I was like, yeah, it's working. And he was like, yeah, mine's not. He was like, I deleted it. And I was like, maybe you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, everyone who's deleting it.
Yeah, I was like, I don't delete apps. But I was like, I'm sorry, it's not working.
Yeah.
We also have a group page on Facebook. It's called Dreadfully Twisted Podcast Discussion Group. So if you would like us to send stories, true crime or paranormal, whether it's your stories or cases you want us to cover, you can comment on that Facebook page, or you can email us at dreadfullytwistedpodcast@gmail.com, or you can go to our Reddit page, r/dreadfullytwistedpodcast. No, that's a lie. r/dreadfullytwistedpod, no cast. You can also rate the podcast page, or like, download, comment on each episode wherever you listen to podcasts on. You can listen to Dreadfully Twisted on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, Samsung Podcast, Amazon Music, Podcast Index, Listen Notes, and YouTube, which I am sorry, I've been not posting the YouTube videos the same day because I upload on the RSS feed and that uploads everywhere except for YouTube because I changed it. So I have to go into YouTube separately and I have to do it on my computer and I just keep forgetting. I don't think I even uploaded the episode from last week, so I'm so sorry. I'll do that tonight. Please share your podcast with our family. Yeah, please share our podcast with our family. Yeah, share our podcast with our family.
With our family, because we know you all know them so well.
I need to stop. I need to stop.
Share it with your family and your friends. And their friends.
It really helps the podcast get out there. Please keep sharing. Like. Please rate us 5 stars. 5 stars. Because it really, really does help us. We want the podcast to grow, and we really appreciate you guys listening, and we really hope you keep listening. And don't be like these people.
Yes.
Don't be like Robert Durst. He is the worst human being ever.
A literal insane person who is absolutely horrible.
Yep. So yeah. And we will see you guys next week. Bye. Sorry that my voice is like shot. It sounds really bad. So okay. I am sorry for the last like half hour. You had to listen to me like scratching, like voice scratching. I drank so much water and I apologize. But stay here for the bloopers now. Bye.
Bye. The struggle bus.
Oh, so I got you saying that. Hello. All aboard the struggle bus.
All aboard the struggle bus.
Just kidding. This is dreadfully twisted. We're not struggling at all.
Yeah.
I'm not struggling at all right now. Everything's fine.
Everything is fine and dandy. Dandy. Peachy.
Guess who's back?
Back again.
I can't get my stuff together right now.
Blooper reel. Oh, it sounded like Patrick Star.
I love it.
That seriously did sound like Patrick Star. Oh my god. Okay. Can we rehinge? I don't know.
Nah.
We will see.
Do I want to rehinge? Is the question. Nah.
Yeah.
Being unhinged is fun.
Yes, it
to
is.
a point.
We're absolutely feral.
No. No.
That word cracks me up every time I hear it. I'm like, are you a raccoon? Like, you wild animal.
Well, that is what I mean.
It is.
Okay. Oh, she's on the table again. If you could just see the eye roll. Get down.
Get down. Open your butt.
Is that Maisie?
Yeah.
Maisie, get down.
Maisie Mouse.
Maisie, come here.
I'm not that innocent.
Oh, baby. Oops, I did it again. Play with your heart. Got lost in the game. Oh, baby. Oops,
I think I'm in love or something like that.
Yeah, you're right. I'm messing it up.
A step from above.
I'm not that innocent.
Hashtag blooper reels.
I love that. Cue Britney Spears.
And that was blooper Spears.
Our blooper reels are now going to be blooper Spears.
Yes, blooper Spears.
My singing is probably awful because I didn't actually try.
Same.
I can sing better than that, I promise.
Me too.
Although you all should feel so much better because I've been with Jeremy now for 8 years. I've never sang in front of him. So you guys get it first.
Yes.
So you're lucky.
This is how you know we're best friends. We just belt singing like stuff and out of nowhere, you know? That's just how we work.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I love it.
What's that from?
On TikTok. It was a song on TikTok from Camila Cabello or whatever her name
Oh.
Oh my god. Everyone was like, this song is so weird. Why? That's what it reminded me of.
Oh, okay, let's get back into this.
Rehinging.
The two women... what happened to my voice?
The wheeze, I just wheezed. Oh my god. Our blooper reel is gonna be freaking hilarious.
Okay. Is my voice working now? Okay. Sorry about that. I just turned into a 13-year-old boy for a hot second. It's fine.
That's okay. I do it all the time on here.
Oh.